If you're a perfectionist, you're most likely prone to constant motion, whether it's in your head or in your behaviors. So that means you're always on because you're either overthinking, overplanning, or doing something. And even if you're the procrastinating type of perfectionist, your perfectionism can still mask itself as productivity. Either way, people around you often give the same advice for you to just stop, or just stop doing so much. Just stop wasting time. But in my work with perfectionists, and as an evolved one myself, I've seen that the real issue isn't just some lack of willpower to stop, it's lack of space. And there is a distinction between stopping and creating space. Stopping is just the now, but pausing is about constantly creating meaningful moments that over time compound to create powerful shifts in your life. You will also find it hard to just stop unless you create space, because space is the pause that takes you out of survival mode long enough to notice what you're doing, what you're feeling, and what you actually want to do next, instead of just reacting according to your defaults and the pressures around you. In this video, I want to show you why living a life with space in it is essential for perfectionists. It's worth fighting for, not as a fluffy self-care idea, but as critical to aligned decision-making and building a life that isn't run by fear of rejection and abandonment. I'll also give you a few simple ways to start creating space, even if your mind and your life already feel full. Most of the advice perfectionists hear, just stop overthinking, just stop doing so much, is basically asking you to jump straight from feeling a certain way to behaving differently, with no gap in between. But if you're wired for high standards and constant vigilance of how well you're achieving them, your brain tends to skip that gap completely. It goes straight from I feel pressure to do or be something to I must fix this now. That missing gap is the space I'm talking about. Creating more space between feeling the pressures you're under and actually acting on those pressures. And in my 3 videos, why you're probably a perfectionist but don't know it yet, forget perfectionist stereotypes, this is what it really is, and is being a perfectionist a good thing? I break down those hidden pressures beneath perfectionism in detail, and I'll leave the links to those 3 below. So in the spaces you create, you get to ask, what emotions sit behind your constant motion or overthinking? What exactly do you want to stop constantly doing or thinking, and why? What do you want to let go of exactly? And what motion actually serves the life you want, not just your fears? But most perfectionists are never taught to do this because you're praised for speed, responsiveness, and high standards. Even when you're told to just stop, you're expected to do it immediately. It also doesn't offer instant gratification. No one applauds you for pausing. So your nervous system always learns to go straight from feeling or sensing pressure to reacting to it by doing or overthinking. Yet the very thing that helps limit the negative effects of this constant motion is the very thing you're least likely to do as a perfectionist, and that is to create space. Perfectionists without space, external pressures and expectations secretly run you. That's why advice like just stop overthinking doesn't work. You can't just stop when your calendar is crammed with other people's priorities. Your phone is within reach 24/7, and your inner monologue is constantly saying you should be doing more, you've not done enough. But with space, you can start to actually see things as they are, rather than getting caught up in the panic of things not being as they should be. A life with moments of space helps you see what you truly want and who you are outside the projections of other people. Secondly, what you're really chasing that achievement masks, such as approval, safety, or certainty. Third, what needs to change in your systems and routines so you're not constantly striving. And lastly, what actually requires your inaction and what deserves your action. And in my video, End the Overwork Spiral in 2026, I talk about how to identify the necessary things, and I'll leave the link to that for you as well. Sometimes the best and healthiest response a perfectionist can have is to not fix, to not act, improve, or rescue, to deliberately leave something unanswered or unfinished and prove to yourself that your worth isn't dependent on constantly managing everything. Before we go on, I'd love to know if you had more space between feeling pressures and reacting to the pressures, what would change most for you? Would it be your work, your relationships, or your well-being? Let me know in the comments below. To help you easily get started with creating a life with moments of space, there are 4 simple ways that you can start. I'm going to share them with you now. The first thing you could try is, as soon as you wake up, take 3 deliberate breaths and state 1 verbalized truth and intention for the day. So before you even check your phone or mentally open your to-do list and think about everything you need to accomplish that day, take that moment of stillness. Some truths and intentions my clients have used include, my worth is not measured by how busy I am and how much I get done today. Another one was, I'm allowed to choose what matters to me most today. And a very, very important one was, I don't need to earn the right to rest. It literally takes you less than 60 seconds to do this, but it does do 2 key things. Firstly, it interrupts the automatic sprint into the day. It reorients you away from what should I be doing towards what kind of person do I want to be today. You're creating the first bit of space here before your perfectionism takes over the steering wheel and starts driving your day. If this idea of building space into your days is resonating, I share more tools like this in my monthly letter, Excellence and Ease. It's for perfectionists and overachievers who want to do meaningful work without abandoning themselves. You can join using the link in the description box below. The second easy thing you can do to create space in your life is to start writing your thoughts down, because perfectionists often carry their inner world in their head, from harsh self-criticism to the mental to-do lists and the I should have done XYZ lists. Some call this journaling, some call it expressive writing. It doesn't really matter what you call it, you just write. There's also a practice I love from someone called Julia Cameron, and she talks about this in her book, The Artist's Way. And it's called writing your morning pages, which is where you simply fill a few pages of uncensored stream of consciousness writing first thing in the morning, not to produce anything impressive. I must stress this, but to clear out the noise so you can actually see what's going on in your mind and start choosing your thoughts and responses instead of letting them choose you. One of the benefits this practice has given me in the past is it helped me identify patterns and what tended to dominate my thinking, because I could see it clearly on the sheets of paper. You don't need to write beautifully or write like someone will evaluate how well you've written. Some writing prompts you can use include, where am I confusing motion with meaning and purpose? And this particular one has been incredibly useful for my clients. Another one is, what am I ignoring, doing, or avoiding out of fear right now? And what am I busy with that doesn't actually move me towards what matters? What in my environment makes it easy to stay in constant motion and hard to pause? And what's one small change I can make this week to combat that? The third way to create space is to practice being an observer more than a judge or a doer by building your observing brain, the part of you that can notice what's happening without immediately judging it or trying to fix it. And obviously that's harder said than done. What you could do is just once a day for 2 minutes, just try sitting or standing somewhere quietly. It could be in public, you could be looking out the window, people watching, or it could be somewhere private. Notice in that time whatever is happening in your internal and external experience, and simply just put a neutral label on it in your mind, imagining you're describing it to someone who is not there. Your only job is to notice and name, not to change, improve, or analyze. Psychologists sometimes call this decentering or cognitive diffusion, which is learning to see thoughts and feelings as events in the mind, not facts you must obey. Practices like this have been shown to reduce rumination and self-criticism over time, and it helps you respond more flexibly instead of reacting on autopilot. For a perfectionist, this is incredibly powerful, because you're practicing noticing pressures to always be doing and perform without immediately doing more or trying to fix yourself. The fourth simple action you can take to create space is to quite simply use micro spaces of joy and play throughout the day, instead of waiting for perfect moments to experience them. The reason this is important is because perfectionists love the fantasy of the perfect, the uninterrupted hour to read or reflect or reset, Sadly, real life doesn't always offer that. So instead, just look for 5 to 10 minute micro spaces that get you out of the doing loop and into the joy and playful mode. It could be 5 minutes of reading a book, a short walk, dancing, using a colouring book, or just standing looking out the window while sipping on your favourite drink. Because if you're prone to constant motion, constant doing, and you're confronted with the idea of an hour's pause, you're less likely to do it. Emphasising joy in play also decenters performance, helping you practice doing something not out of striving or fear, but for the pure pleasure of it. At first, creating space won't feel as useful as accomplishing yet another task, but over time, this is what moves you from living to prove your worth and earn your place to becoming more self-aware of what is actually driving your work and efforts. It takes you from chasing goals derived from external pressures to chasing goals aligned with your values and who you are, and from making decisions from fear and survival mode to actually being present enough to choose with courage, clarity, and confidence. And if you're realizing that even when you create space, your default way of thinking and reacting still drags you back into overwork and self-criticism, that's the next layer we'll talk about in my upcoming video. I'll meet you there.